they probably use a lot more uh, stock-based compensation and that sort of stuff. On the other hand, Microsoft is a software company. Other than the server farms that contain the data center business, they don't have much depreciation. Of course, the last year or so, they've been buying a lot of NVIDIA chips. That's going to change in the future. Even comparing the same firm over time, Microsoft is going to be a lot more depreciation heavy firm next year compared to what it was 2 years ago, because they've been buying those NVIDIA chips like nobody's business. Like the biggest buyers of NVIDIA chips are Microsoft, Google, Apple, and Saudi Arabia. On the other hand, firms are also have different leverages. Okay, uh, as an example, Delta versus Southwest Airlines. Delta has a debt equity ratio of 200 something percent, and Southwest is about 80, 90%. So you want to kind of get the role of leverage out. Again, in advanced courses, we back out an implied price. Let's say I want to value Delta Airlines, assuming the value of Southwest Airlines is correct, which is a big assumption, but it's a relative valuation that matters. Using any type of ratio that involves price or market cap, I can back out an implied price. Okay. You're basically saying, I have this ratio, I want them to be the same. And you take the ratio of the firm that you use as an anchor or group of firms, and you back out a price that implies the same ratio for the firm for which you're trying to get a price. Again, that's too complicated for the purpose of this class, but we're going to define a concept called enterprise value, EV, which is market cap plus book value of liabilities minus net cash. Okay. Sometimes it's called net. Some people do net cash. Some people just do cash. I put that on purpose in quotes. This definition of cash for the purposes of analysis sometimes is different. Some people use just cash and cash equivalents. Whatever you have in the banks and in your vaults. Some people add short-term investments to that. For when I do this for analysis, I use net cash, which is cash equivalents plus short-term investments plus accounts receivable minus current liabilities. Okay. The idea behind the enterprise value is to make an estimate of what market values the business, okay, the core business. We're taking the cash out because that's not part of the business. Market cap is your market value of your equities, right? Equity. If we can assume that book value of equity is almost book value of liabilities is almost the same as market value of liabilities, which is a good first approximation. Again, in this sort of analysis, you can't go after precision because a lot of things are based on predictions anyway, which has forecast errors. So if we can assume that market cap plus book value of liabilities is an estimate of the market value of the assets. Remember, equity plus liabilities are equal to assets. Market value is a linear operator, which means market value of a sum is equal to the sum of the market values. That's what a linear operator means. So that's a good estimate of market value of Let me actually explicitly write it. Approximate market value of total assets minus net cash. Again, whatever that net cash may mean. Different analysts use different way of doing it. So if you use the published number for enterprise value, make sure you know how they calculate. When I look at the basically market value of, you can think of EV as value of non-cash assets, in a sense. Okay, those are the things that are going to produce return for you. We're going to compare EV to EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and allowances. I want to take the interest out because interest is typically is a consequence of leverage. So if firms have leverage differentials, I want to take the effect of that out from the earnings. I don't want to look at the taxes either. Why? Firms have different accounting practices. Some firms pay their taxes on time. I'm not saying the other firms are not doing anything illegal, but because of accounting practices, you can book them somewhere else, but eventually you're going to pay them back. But that creates comparison difficulties. So you take that out as well. Of course, firms are different in how they do depreciation, and sometimes they take one-time charges, those allowances. So you want to take those out as well. This is EBITDA is essentially operating earnings before you have to worry about taxes. So you're making a comparison of firms based on that. Interest, taxes, depreciation, and other stuff are in a sense pieces of information that makes things more uncertain. So you take those out. Only keep things that you can be clear-headed about. So the ratio we use is EV over EBITDA. Of course, there are variations of this based on what earnings you use. Are you using trailing 12 months, next 12 months, expected earnings, average earnings over the next 5 years, what have you? But just for the hell of it, let's look at EV over EBITDA for Southwest, 858, American, 1912. Well, it looks like, Southwest is actually cheaper. Okay. But based on forward PE, Southwest is more expensive. Why? Because of the leverage. I'm going to stop here today. I'm going to post your chapter 3 homework assignment tomorrow. I'll give you guys enough time to do it again. We're going to cover on Thursday, we're going to start covering chapter 6, interest rates and bond valuation. And we're going to play Jeopardy on chapter 3 next Tuesday. The four groups that competed last time are guaranteed not to compete. I'll randomly pick four of the remaining five. All right? I'll see you guys Thursday. Again, for those latecomers, I extended chapter 2 homework until tomorrow, end of day. I think Patel came a little bit late, so let's put them in. Just a second. Come on.